Hello and welcome to Nollywood Film Club. I'm Mr. C, a Viroko critic. I hope you're doing well. On this very back to a little bit longer episodes, which is interesting because we're not discussing a movie today. As you can see from the title, we were just hanging out. There was a big topic that came up during the week. We're having this conversation, and it's regarding to the Things Fall Apart TV series that was recently announced by A24. So we go in. I don't want to read because I'm going to go over it in the space. But we discuss a lot of that. That's the first hour. You can look at the timestamps for more clarification if you want to skip ahead. Well, we discussed that. We spent a lot of time on that. And then we discuss a little bit of Lisabi. This is not our usual full deep dive where we discuss good, the bad, and everything. It's just from the people who have seen what they've seen. And other people say what they've been watching and give their recommendations. I hope you enjoy Nollywood Film Club having a hangout. Welcome to everyone who's here. This is Nollywood Film Club. We do discuss Nollywood movies every Sunday. Sometimes Netflix doesn't make their films global and we decide to do topics instead. This week, we're just going to be catching up. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to be talking about some of the news that has dropped this week for Nollywood, and we will be also discussing what we've been watching recently and anything else that's on our mind, film related. So, a couple of news have dropped this week. We can start with the big one. Daddy Idris Elba Uncle Idris Elba is going to be starring in a new adaptation TV series produced by A24. Things Fall Apart. Produced by what's his name? No.
Other David Oyelo was Yoruba Saxon.
David Oyelo,
mixing up
yes.
my Nigerian British.
Yes. It happens. All right. So we know there've been lots of conversation, generally speaking. I think a lot has been said, and maybe almost everything has been said, but some people feel strongly about it. Any thoughts? What's people's first thoughts? Again, there's no cue, so this is just going to be an unmute and speak. And obviously, if somebody's just talking, try not to talk over them. But there's no. I'm not calling anybody in particular.
You are calling me. You know you are.
We have guilty conscience.
No, but you know you are. Generally, in my 3-hour long crash out, I think I've said all I wanted to say. Really, my thing is not addressed to Idris Elba and David Oyelowo. They can do whatever the hell they want to do. I mean, they're doing it anyways. My thing is addressed to the Nollywood insiders, the actors and filmmakers and stakeholders who came into my comment section trying to be the voice of reason and logic and intellectualism, talking about the secrets of filmmaking economy and all that rubbish, and trying to bring logic. Why is everybody having an emotional reaction? I want to put
okay. Let's for somebody who might just be listening for the first time and didn't know what your tirade was about. Your meltdown.
I feel like my meltdown went viral. My Mentee B went viral. I won't lie, my Mentee B went viral. I was like, hold on. You people think I'm joking. Like, people were laughing at me going through stress. It wasn't funny, guys. My hands were affixed to my skull for 3 hours straight.
Right.
I was
so after the news that Idris Elba was going to be starring, Vanessa did not take this.
I did not take it very well. I didn't take it well, guys. I did not.
And there were some tweets. Illustrating how
How not well
not
I
well.
took it.
Yeah, that's the long and short of it. And you're saying some Nollywood
Some Nollywood people
Nollywood
were coming in my
filmmakers.
comments. The
Mhm.
the retorts ranked from like, oh, Ijusaba can do whatever he likes, it's his money, which is just quite
Mm.
frankly stupid, because I'm not stupid enough to not know that Ijusaba is using his money and he can do whatever he wants to do with his money. Duh. To other people talking about how optioning getting the rights to literature is so expensive. Nollywood cannot do it. Meanwhile, Auntie Mo Abudu, she do license the right to a work of a play by our Nobel laureates, Professor Wale Soyinka. Nollywood can option IPs, guys. Let's be so for real. We can pay for, if we want to do it, we will do it. One. Number two, some people were coming in my mind. Economics, if they want a studio to back it, Idris has to back. Literally in one of my tirades, I did say, I know that there's the context of funding and all of that. I am still well within my rights. So is everybody else to have an emotional reaction. My meltdown wasn't for the general populace. You know, this is the thing. I always forget that when I'm tweeting for myself, that's when the thing do usually go to the wrong places. Because everybody now started coming on my thing and we're talking. I was talking for.
But to be honest, Twitter always for Twitter always is your tweet. Is your tweet, is your opinion, is how you feel about a certain thing. I don't
Like,
understand this.
everybody is trying to comment.
Except if you start saying that, oh, this is how things ought
Ought to
to
be.
be,
I didn't say that. Me, I was
end
having
of.
an emotional
Then you can say,
reaction.
to be honest, I haven't taken that bad because you can say this things ought to be according to me,
It's
and that's also
exactly.
still
It's still an
that's also
opinion.
still fine.
Mind you, I didn't
Mm-hmm.
even have like a full on. I don't think in all my tirade. I don't think I had a full on specific opinion. I was just having an emotional reaction to what I consider probably the greatest piece of African literature. Right, Chinua Achebe is my goat, only closely followed by Cyprian Ekwensi. Like, these are my goats. I don't when Eleshioba occurred, I didn't like the film, but I didn't care that much because I don't care that much for Wole Soyinka, right? But like, I care about Chinua Achebe. I care. I really do. And a lot of Nigerians do. Okonkwo is probably, granted, he's a fictional man, right? But Okonkwo is a hero to a lot of people within Nigeria and outside of Nigeria. Whether or not we like it, a fictional hero, yes, but he is literally one of our most iconic, recognizable characters in literature. People are allowed to have an emotional reaction. And for you to come with logic and trying to explain to us how the film industry works and the secrets of filmmaking economy, this is not the time. I am allowed to have an emotional reaction. I am allowed to feel how I feel. I literally had to tweet. I was like, okay, so you people have told me what you wanted to tell me now. And I still feel how I feel. And I still said what I said. What now happened? Like, this is my thing. You people come and everybody's trying to pause it. Like, and I know this is not the point of this, but I genuinely needed to say it. Who was trying to pause it as some intellectual about filmmaking and how this one happened to this one and how people need the backing of studios and how this one is that one. No, the news literally dropped 3 hours ago. Mind you, off of the back of that horrendous teaser of Ashake's documentary that Idris is narrating, we all heard Idris's pidgin and his mumbling and bumbling of Yoruba streets in Lagos. We know what that man sounds like when he's trying to sound Nigerian. Now, multiply that by him sounding like a Nigerian Igbo man. I need you people to put this into context. We already have proof. It's there. The video is still there. Wait for the Ashake documentary to come aside. People are allowed to have an emotional reaction. I had my meltdown. I had a nightmare. People thought I was joking when I said I heard him speak Igbo in my dream. Wallahi, it's not even. I had a nightmare. I was tossing and turning throughout the night. It's not a joke. I could not sleep. I tossed and turned. I heard that accent in my dream and I was filled with more fear. And I'm allowed to, guys. People have an emotional attachment to films, to books, to music, and they're allowed to express that emotional attachment without you people coming to be the voice of logic and the voice of reasoning and supposed knowledge and deep wells of secrets that nobody else knows. Like, what is it? But yeah, I've moved on because at the end of the day, the people that have the money are gonna do what they are gonna do. All of you putting faith in Yoruba Saxon. I wish people all the best because of all the things that Yoruba Saxon has produced. Ask David Oyelowo what it has done for his career. Well, let me keep quiet before they will come and jack me by my throat.
Okay.
Also, last
All
thing,
right.
I feel like this is Idris's bait for an Oscar nomination. And it is his way of giving himself what he thinks is going to be his best role ever. Again, unpopular opinion, I think Idris is a hit and miss actor. He's not consistently a good actor, and God will help all of you people with this film. Thanks and God bless.
Unpopular.
I
I
said
disagree.
what I it's not unpopular at all because the way people are positing like he's this actor who is gonna. Do you people remember Mandela? Do you
I don't
remember
know. Yeah.
Mandela? Please.
Yeah. Mandela. Yeah.
Remember
All right. Okay.
Mandela,
So
you know.
Mandela was, I think, the other version. Which and you might miss this, but yes, we're just in the unmute yourself and speak. There's no real order to this.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I'm not emotional about the whole things fall apart thing, although I have questions about it. My main contention, I've argued with a bunch of people over the past few days, and I understand exactly what Vanessa is talking about in terms of people trying to lecture you from an intellectual point of view about how the film business works. But I've found that a lot of the analysis that these people are giving feels very out of date. I mean, it's not that having A-list stars doesn't mean anything anymore, but we're in an era where Hollywood, and by Hollywood I'm talking about the Anglo-American film industry, tends to revolve more around IP than around stars. And Things Fall Apart is the most famous African novel of all time. It's been translated into over 50 languages around the world. It's taught in schools around the world. It's a very strong intellectual property. It doesn't need A-list stars to sell it. It doesn't need Idris Elba in it to sell it. Things Fall Apart on its own sells itself. At least, I think Things Fall Apart paired with a great director, a name brand director, and a cast of unknowns, it sells itself. I mean, I look at movies like, the example I keep on using is Shogun. Shogun just won 18 Emmys. It was critically acclaimed. Everybody loved it. And it has most of its cast is Japanese actors who may be well known in Japan, but to most of the international audience, they are completely unknown. And the even the English and American actors in it are not A-listers. But it stands the reason that it succeeds is because there's something it brought something to the table. There is something that is to be said for a kind of cultural sensitivity that I think um, audience these days value a lot more than they did in the past. So my main contention with Things Fall Apart is I don't care where the actors are from personally. I just think that should be in Igbo. If it's not in Igbo, I think something's lost. It could be done very well in English, but I don't think it would have the same resonance. And everybody says, well, the original novel's in English. Yeah, the original novel was written in 1958. This is a different era. I just don't think it will work as well in English. It depends on how you look at it. If you look at Things Fall Apart just as a Shakespearean tragedy that happens to be set in Africa, fine. You can do it in English with everybody speaking with British accents, even. But if you look at it as that, but also as a cultural document of life before colonialism, if you have the actors speaking the colonial language, there's something that just doesn't really work. So, um, I don't know. I mean, the chances are it's going to be in English, and I just don't think that's a great idea. Although it's not, it doesn't derail the movie or the series. I'm sure it could still be good, but I think it will really lose something. I think it could have been like something like Shogun, something that has that kind of authenticity, or something like Apocalypto. Again, no A-list stars, everybody speaking the native language, and it was critically and commercially a success. I just don't think that A-list stars are as important in 2025 as they were, maybe 15 years ago. People don't really flock to 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 properties just because it has A-list stars. And it has already been mentioned, Idris himself is hit and miss, you know? So I wish him the best anyway. I'm not mad at it. I'm not emotional about it, but uh, I do hope they take a route that I think would be better than using a particular style of filmmaking that was popular 10 years ago.
Uh, my thing is that uh, I didn't know this news at all.
Oh, I had my hands raised. Oh, are we not going by?
No.
Go on, go on. There's no raising of hands, guys. You just unmute. You just
Let me
unmute us.
it's going to be very quick. I don't know much about television, but if there's anything I understand with Nigerian trying to, these are, I get really pissed when, so I remember when the announcement for, I think Adichie's, Chimamanda's Americana was announced, and then Lupita was cast as Ifemelu, and people were just, they want to go and kill themselves. And I'm like, go and kill yourself. Because I do not want, I consider those, especially with books that are movies who they try to bring the because I like books. And Things Fall Apart I love Things Fall Apart. And my idea, when I think about the series, I want to be transported. I do not want to see zinc and poor lighting, and the mic is going off and on while I'm trying to be transported. That's my own concern. And whenever an international audience comes into this thing, nobody should come for my neck. It is what it is. And I'm going to say it in this state. I'm going to say it here. Whenever international people, they come into these spaces, they do their best with crafting this world in terms of the surrounding, just sort of like making you truly, transporting into the scene. They put a lot of work into the craft and the rest. They do not give you caricature things, right? So we watch, I don't know, I mean, if you have seen the series of, I've not seen it, the movie, I think it's about Fela's mom. What's her name again? Oh my God, why is she leaving my head? But I just watched the trailer and I'm like, God forbid, I'm not watching this nonsense, because I don't know what the F is going on and why we still are in that phase where I think I was in this room where we were discussing about, you guys were discussing a YouTube film where it was sort of funny. People were saying, oh, it's a big bed. The big bed is the 1982, so they are transporting you with the big bed. And in my mind, I'm just, that is so fucking wrong. And what is it about our movies that they cannot truly transport us to the world? I really, like I said, I don't know much about films, but I know that in regards to that, Nollywood always fail with that aspect. So whenever I see an international audience coming to the spaces, my own idea is that, okay, good God, they will bring the world. Like I would actually see the world as it is, the way I see it in the novel. They are sort of going to bring it to life. So I won't be worried about seeing a zinc, modern houses at the corner, because that just something about that. Even if they speak the most perfect Igbo, if I see zinc and see modern house, I will be so torn apart. I'll be so pissed. And you can say, oh, they'll go to a bush and they start shooting this thing. Oh, this is how, even with the bush thing, they carry, I could still tell that a lot was not paid attention to. And I don't want that with Things Fall Apart. I'm sorry. I like Idris, and I don't even care if they speak, English all throughout. As long as they give me the world and I see Okonkwo in his full glory, I'm good. I'm truly good with it, because I don't want another poor lights, poor camera, poor. I'm coming. I'm almost done. Pour everything, and then the zinc house at the corner. I don't want that with Things Fall Apart. I want the full range of the surrounding. So that's what it is. I'm not saying they are not poor. I'm not saying that Hollywood doesn't have poor movies. They have terrible films, but with their world building and the crafting, they do a great job with just that. So that's
I was
where
about to say
that's what
they don't
I
actually.
think of when.
Yeah, I was about to say that they didn't do that every time, or I wouldn't even say they do that most of the time. I think
But it's less.
it's just.
It's so no. I'm sorry, but it's less
Are
in
you
their
sure
spaces. But
though?
with
Because like,
Nigerian, they don't
because one
pay.
of the things
They with our
is that
movies.
Transported in
like,
ways.
let me address a particular thing. Is that there's a thing, I call it the specialist because I don't know whether there's a better name for it, but the more you are, the more knowledgeable you are about a thing they actually show in film, the more you're going to be able to see the faults. So when you are
Exactly.
seeing you know, I don't know, British things, 16th century stuff, there's somebody who has studied that history. You might think, oh, this looks really good and really accurate, and somebody who has studied that history is like, this is nonsense, it doesn't make any sense. It happens a lot. It happens more time than
Case in
most
point, Bridgerton.
in
Case
Hollywood.
in point, Bridgerton
And
season
so I
5.
wouldn't I wouldn't I wouldn't
But Bridgerton
say,
was
oh,
not
because the
historical.
West,
Sorry.
I wouldn't say because the West or some Hollywood people are doing or are doing a film, because like where are they going to get the knowledge from? They're going to have to get the knowledge from us, last, right, and do that research. And it's only what we will tell them that they're going to know. So I don't know. I disagree with
Also,
that.
it also
I can,
depends on the filmmakers that you're watching. You mentioned the FKA
I
film. So sorry. That's his BAP.
It's that you guys are arguing about a book I
Is
find
BAP.
tremendously boring because
Is
I
BAP,
don't read
guys.
books.
Sorry. So sorry. That's BAP. That's BAP. We have filmmakers and directors and people who actually care about world building.
I
Problem is
want to say
that
something, guys.
you keep
Guys,
talking
Exists.
about
all I now
world
wants to
building,
speak.
but you do not consider language to be part
sorry.
of world
Guys,
building.
guys. All I now raised up
I,
her hand and she wants to speak.
Like I
Let her
said,
speak.
everyone said that eat me this
I'm
room.
sorry.
I'm ready for it to be eaten
I'm
up. But I care about language, but
I,
there's something about they're speaking the language, but we are not in the world. It's still bizarre. It's just
Language is very integral
language
to
is
word
such a
building.
core part of the world.
It's very important to like
It's such a
language
core
is
part
part.
of the
It
world.
is
All I know.
All I now,
And my
All right.
wait.
It
reason,
seems
All I
like you
now wants
guys
to say
actually
something.
need
Can
me
you,
after all.
guys, let
So,
All I now say what she wants to say.
all right.
sorry, please,
All I now, you can speak. And
the,
then
the
I'll go after you.
please, sorry. um, so the idea of building a world is believable. It's like you can't just tell me that because maybe the surrounding is hot. Then when someone is obviously speaking in a British accent, I'm just supposed to overlook it because they had really nice huts around and I didn't see zinc. Language, nuance, these things are important. I think what a lot of people keep missing as regards this whole things fall apart thing is that people are totally ignoring the art and focusing on the commerce of it all. It's a lot of, oh, there's not enough money for this, oh, these guys can't afford this. Oh, but the art is so important because if I'm watching anything, and this is not even about like bringing money, because I'm very sure that Idris Elba can bring enough money that will be able to pay half of Nollywood to still shoot this movie. I mean, I don't even know why he feels the need to be an Okonkwo. There are a bunch of people. I don't even think they're that expensive. Come on now. Even if it was money, if he brought enough money and he cared about the art, he would be able to find very, very affordable actors in Nollywood. We don't, they know they charge pounds for here, beg. We know they charge in pounds. Now still naira. And you're telling me that because Fumi naira, so that's even, I don't even want to speak on that part. But in general, people are forgetting that there's things like nuance and this character, this Okonkwo is not just it's not even like a half of a yellow sun kind of character. And they botched that. They botched half of a yellow sun. I'd like us to recall this. It is not even that kind of character that you could say it was maybe like it was like post-colonial it was a post-colonial story, and then you could have characters that you could say, okay, they came from here, they came from there, and it made sense. This is pre-colonial, so you can't even bring. So I'm trying to even imagine, because to be honest, the Igbo language, the Igbo accents, the Igbo nuances, this is one of quite possibly the most difficult languages, accent or whatever you can find in Nigeria as a whole. And then you have, of all persons, Idris Elba. We've seen him before, dears. Please, he can't even pull off the general Nigerian accent, and they are telling me that he's going to play Okonkwo, an iconic character. And it's not even just that he's going to play Okonkwo. The person that played Okonkwo before him was the great Pete Edochie. He will not match. I regret to inform you guys. He will never reach it. He could have maybe like found someone that is I don't know. You could have gotten. I saw people mentioning people like Stan and say, yeah, we could work with that too.
Alayo.
But I don't even know about Stan and Xavier. I said we could. I don't even know about that, but not Idris. Even I even saw Chiwetel no try for half of it. But like I don't even know. But the thing is that there are other people that they can get for this role, because this character is too important a character for us to just leave it to, oh, it's because we don't have IP rights, it's because there's not enough money in Nollywood. Nobody's even saying Nollywood has to do it. People are saying there can be a collaboration between between A24 and Nollywood. We don't want plenty characters. Give us 2 or 3 characters, including Okonkwo. Then you can pack Idris Elba and whoever it is else. We can even put Damson Idris. All the Idrises in the whole. We will pack all of them and put, as long as some of the key characters remain true to themselves. That's just it. We don't want plenty
Let
things.
me
If
let me,
only
let me ask
3
something
roles
real
where we
quick.
don't manage.
When you say a collaboration between A24 and Nollywood, which Nollywood producers would you see as being the one that would bring particular value to this project?
Honestly,
Oh, good.
I don't even
There
know
is
which
no
producer.
one.
I don't
Just the
even know which
answer to that
producers
question. There is
in
I
particular.
zero.
I
disagree.
don't
I
even
think
know
I
which
think CJ
producers
Obasi will do a good
Yeah.
All right.
job. I think
in
And
CJ
the
Obasi will
old
do a good job.
specifically
Oh my
CJ
god.
Obasi's wife,
Oh
who is
my
his
god.
producer.
Really?
All right. I'm going to let Lehi speak in a bit, but I'm just going to repeat one thing that was that we lost and mentioned by Vanessa, and it's that everybody's going to feel a certain way about this kind of thing. Almost the same way that MSC feels about zinc. Is going to be the way other people feel about language, and it's going to hit people different. And I think the point of stating, saying how you feel here is to say exactly how you feel. It doesn't make your own version better than somebody else's own neuroticism. I just prefer if this one was just good and the other one, I don't mind if the other one is bad. Okay, that's for you, right? And very much feel free to advocate for whatever you feel works better for you. But just know that yours doesn't make it the one. All right. Alohi, please, what were you going to say?
Excuse me, I've been trying to speak and I've just been giving space for everybody else to speak.
Don't worry, Oyinka speak. I'll speak
I'm
after you.
fine. All right. Thank you. Well, first of all, I didn't even know this news. But all I was just trying to say is this. Um, we should just think about it as an Hollywood movie. Hollywood makes like books from other people and all that something. And like we can always make our own. Whether they own the IP, who cares? They own the IP. But does Hollywood IP law guarantee that Nigerian IP laws too is the same thing? No, excuse me. We can always make our own movie. Maybe years later, maybe something later. Whatever. I mean, also to even talk about this, it was always going to be flawed in any way. For my own, okay. I know I have said Woman King here multiple times. By the way, they collaborated with a Nigerian company called Mohabudu, right? They came here, they asked us for opinions, and still they did whatever the fuck they wanted to do. For people saying they know whatever the fuck they wanted to do, that was absolutely horrendous. This movie is an American movie. Woman King was an American movie, just dressed up like a Nigerian or it's set up in like West African history. And it botched West African history so badly and everything. That this movie will have that too. And if you just think about it as like an American thing, because the makers of it are going to react to more American political thought and all these things and other stuff and other stuff. That's their movie. Let them have it. It's not our own. It's okay.
All
And
right.
also, Americans make horrible historically incorporated. Everything is historically inaccurate. I just wanted to know that.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say. Also, I did not know this. And don't we
All
already
right.
make?
Okay.
Hold on.
All right. Okay. Lehi, do you want to go on?
Okay, I've spoken about it a bit, but I think for me, it's not even the fact that like it's a Hollywood company doing their own thing and all of that. I just feel like this is well-known IP. There's the opportunity to take risk. You can take risk on, using a Nigerian director for setting like episodes. You can take risk like they said. You can use not faces that aren't known, as opposed to this is even TV. It even helps like it's even better that it's TV as opposed to film where you even start thinking, oh, box office. We're using Idris Elba because of box office numbers, because of this is well-known IP. This is a big studio. This is A24, and um, I believe that this like certain Hollywood production companies they keep making films about people without actually giving accurate representation. Representation is fine, but accurate representation is even better. It's not just for you to make money from the stories of other cultures, and it's not it's not um it's not accurate. I was drawing a parallel with Emilia Perez. It's doing so well in the festival circuit. It's probably going to get up to like 8 nominations at the Oscars. But I've been seeing reviews from actual Mexicans who have said that this does not accurately represent Mexico and their country. And whilst it's doing well and it's nice and all of that, but like it literally has one Mexican actor and she's been like relegated to the back burners. It just feels like you're using our stories to get your awards, to get your viewership, and people, because and also media literacy is there. Nobody's going to check the real story of what happened. It is how these people represent these stories that people start to think is truth. And I think that it's okay if people are concerned about certain things, about like if people are, I get it. You want production, and that's why I said that I don't even have a problem with it being Hollywood. You want, production scale to be high. You want, but I believe that there should be that balance. We can care about production scale and all of that, and we should also care about accurate representation, and language is important to that. If Idris Elba was just like a side character, I would have even said, okay, that's fine. But he's playing Okonkwo, and that's to me is very very concerning. And I think that Nigerians have every right to be concerned about it, especially as it is. It is probably like it is a book that a lot of Nigerians hold dear, you know, and yeah, that's basically what I have to say for now.
But is the fact that you hold a book dear enough reason to feel this? Because ultimately, it's a work of fiction, right? I would understand a lot of strong feelings if they were doing like a historical retelling with him, but it just feels like over the last few years we've seen a lot of books get retold in many ways. We have seen Cinderella with a black Asian prince and a black princess. Like, I'm not sure, like, if the concerns about his accent, sure, and I don't know. Let's see what the dialect coach is able to do. I've heard it just ever do other accents. It's not great. We're gonna end up with patois, but I don't know that that means necessarily that he cannot embody the character or embody the role or tell the story properly.
Otas, I
I
think
think
he would do great as
I
Amalinze
want
the
to say
cat.
something.
Just
Sorry,
saying.
what did you say?
I would like to say,
I said
Vanessa,
I
sorry.
think he would do great as Amalinze the cat. That's
Oh.
all.
I'm sure he
Okay.
can embody. I'm
I would
sure he
like
can
to
embody
say
the role. And frankly,
something.
all this talk about accent, I think that if they choose to do it in English, which they probably will, I think they shouldn't do accents. Just speak with regular British stage accents. There's no
Oh,
need
but they're
putting
going
on
to do
accents.
accents.
they are going to do accents.
Idris is
They're
not
They're
going
gonna
to
going to
do.
do
resist.
that
Idris is
horrible.
not
No,
gonna
I mean
So,
resist the chance
wait,
to
did you
do a
guys watch?
Nigerian accent.
it's one of those
What's
things
it
where,
called?
like, recently there was a lot of controversy about Denzel Washington in Gladiator 2 speaking with a New York accent, and he said, "Look, I mean, we're speaking English. We're not speaking Latin. What accent am I supposed to use? What accent am I supposed to use? You might, instead of just doing some weird thing that sounds stupid, just talk regular." And I think that's what they should do here if they're gonna do it in English. If you're gonna treat it like it's a
I
theater
like it.
piece, just use a regular theater accent rather than putting on some sort of fake
Guys, wait,
something.
wait. In
Yeah,
Black
but they're
Panther,
not
they
going
I would
to
did
like
do
to
that.
say,
accents.
I would
They're
like to
they're
say
Wait,
something.
they're definitely
Please,
not going to do
I've not
that.
spoken,
Okay.
and I think I want
Yeah.
to respond to this particular
Good
one.
man.
Yeah, because this thing about I'm sorry,
The Gladiator. I think it's already been said over and over. And I don't think there was a backlash because it's been an ongoing conversation, right? About the fact that there are some stories told in places outside of UK. And when you're speaking in English, you can't expect that all the time it has to be British accent. So maybe, yeah, eventually everybody comes to a consensus. But I find the argument about that relating to things fall apart to be it's false equivalence. I don't think we should be comparing apples and oranges because how do you think Nigerians would speak English, right? It's a different thing. It's a different situation here. And I don't think um I don't think that our stories are that universal. Do you get
I,
it's
I
so
disagree.
niche.
I know what you're
Let me finish
saying.
my point. Let me finish my point, please. Please let me finish my point. So I don't think our stories are that universal for it to be one of those films in a slate where yeah anything can pass. So that's one. Two, I really don't care much for this topic, this particular one. I when I saw it, I really didn't care. But what I find very funny is the need to tell people how to react. I find it very funny. And I get it if people are defending their opinions, like, oh, what about this? What about that? Fine, that's great. If there was if there was a discussion. But I find this conversation that, well, Hollywood does it. But the truth is, Hollywood does it and Hollywood gets backlash 100% of the time. Every single time you see a film, either a book set somewhere else, that is being acted by other people, it will always get backlash. I saw on TL some days ago something about Memoirs of Geisha, da 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 da. Da. And it's funny because that's one film that I really liked. I liked it so much that when I watched it, after I watched it, I googled about it. Where I must have been in uni then, and the first thing I saw about it was backlash. It was banned in Japan. Memoirs of Geisha was banned in Japan for the mere fact that the role was acted by Chinese actress, not just by one, but a lot of Chinese actresses. Not even that alone. This woman, she's from the. What, is she Malaysian? What's her name? Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Michelle Yeoh.
My brain fails me now. I have baby's brain. Yeah, but the point is
She's
that
Chinese
I
Malaysian.
find that argument. Yeah. So, but the argument that you oh, but it's done elsewhere. Well, congratulations. There's backlash all the time too elsewhere. So if we are going to say the argument stands, right? Like it's moot. It's open to interpretation. It's open to pushback. It's fine. It can be a ongoing conversation. I just think that using that particular line of thought to shut down whatever concerns, it's anything goes because why yes it's Hollywood, it's your money, it's your production, it's your right to do. In fact, you can cast white people as Ikemefuna, save as Okonko. That's your prerogative, right? The point is after you're done you're still going to get that backlash whether you like it or not. That's just my own contribution to
And can
this.
I even add that, like, one of my biggest fear is that this series can be critically acclaimed, well praised, well received, watched by
Oh,
many,
it will be.
and
It will be.
wait, please, and we could hate it as Nigerians because it has missed what we think is the spirit of the book or something like that. This happens. This has happened before, and this is my biggest fear: is that it can be good and creative and have all the eyes and have all the and so where we just become a side note in our own story, and that's my biggest worry. Is that's something that I don't think is one can just I don't know just oh hey it's just laugh off anyway. But that's my biggest worry.
I agree with you. I
I
definitely
just
think
want to
that
make
can
sure.
happen, but I don't know if that's something to worry about. I mean, let's be real. It's not being made for Nigerians per se. I mean, sure, we have a right to talk about it, but we're not the target audience. So I mean, it's not like I doubt the premiere is going to be done in Nigeria. I don't know if that matters. But I want to push back
Netflix will do premiere in Lagos, so
I want to push back slightly on I think doing a premiere in Lagos would be just as misguided as I don't know. Anyway, but anyway, yeah. I want to push back slightly on Elizabeth. I want to say that I do not think I disagree when she says that our stories are not universal. As I said earlier, Things Fall Apart is taught in schools all around the world. It's been translated into several languages.
In films, how many things fall apart have you seen in
But
Hollywood? How
we are
many
talking about
Nigerian
Things Fall Apart
based?
though.
I'm talking about
No, but we're
film.
talking about
I'm
things
talking,
fall
yes,
apart.
but the point is, we are
If the
talking,
story
things
has
fall
if the
apart
story
as
has
film.
resonated with people,
Things fall apart as film.
well, yeah, but we're talking about the stories.
But it is not the story that you would listen to. You're going to watch people act it, reenact it. The point is, how many Nigerian stories have you seen in Hollywood? Enough for it to be just another run of the mill. We've seen so much gladiator themed films. We've seen so much film sets in Europe, in fantasy world, in
Okay,
so much so that
I understand
such
what you're
that
saying. I
nobody
understand what you're
cares
saying.
what accent is being used. Please let me come. So sometimes it really doesn't matter what accent, because at some point, I think it was Legend of the Seeker that was also purely, I think, American accent. Nobody cares, because the point is it evolves. This is already mainstream. At some point, people are going to stop giving
What,
a hoot or bother about it. So what I'm saying is Nigerian language, we know so much that when Hollywood does African, we even complain. The entire continent talks about the Wakanda accent, using Eastern accents for Southern Africa. It's a common topic. Is the conversation du jour. People talk about it. So it's not enough to say, to give a backhand, well, whatever, anything goes. It will
but
go,
that's what I'm
but
saying.
people
It
will
takes steps to
talk.
get there, and that's the reason why I said that they shouldn't use any significant accent, because if they're speaking English, it doesn't matter what accent they're speaking with, to be honest. I mean, I would say avoid that really hard Wakanda accent, but they can use the sort of traditional, generic uh, African accent. I think that would be fine, because what is the point of even using an Igbo accent? I mean, it's not as if in the 1890s, Igbo people even sounded the way they do today. What is the point of it? There is no point. Just speak regular. Just speak like you're on stage, good elocution and whatnot, and then you can allow the audience to use their imagination to imagine that they're speaking whatever language you want them to speak. But if you're speaking English, it really doesn't matter what accent you use. Ultimately, somebody could come on there with a Brooklyn accent; it would be all the same.
So,
That
anyways, I was
is
thinking back
that is
earlier
why we need to be. That is why the word needs to be
saying
accurately
that
translated. I need to
I was
let me
saying
just finish.
Emezi, hang on. Otas hasn't
I was
spoken.
saying that Memoirs of a Geisha wasn't banned in Japan because of the Chinese actresses, but because of the portrayals of geishas as prostitutes. That is completely different when you're taking someone's culture and turning it into something else. Like, I understand the country banning it then. Did Japanese people have a problem with Chinese people playing the main actresses? Sure, but that's not why Japan banned it. Like, that's just not substantial enough reason. But that was my only pushback for Elizabeth.
But it's Hollywood. See the point. So maybe I mixed up so many things. It's been long, but the truth is that it was banned. That's one. And it was Hollywood production. So whether we are going to bother about accuracy, the point is, the moment people take your stories, right, it's not up to you what they do with it. I hear Oyinkan's the stuff about the Woman King, which again I really don't care about. Like I said, I really do not care about this
Yeah, I
particular
didn't even
topic,
like the
because when
book.
Woman King
I
came
didn't
out,
even like the
I
book.
went to watch it
So
and I liked watching it and I went to bed, right? But the point is this: the same backlash Woman King got. The point is when people went out, I'm going to put this in quotes as per outsiders now, because I really, again, I don't care. But when outsiders take your story, what they do with it is no longer, once you've sold that IP, it's no longer in your hands. Whether it is accurate, it is not their business again. So if they now go ahead, right, and make their own version of whatever it is that we think Onkoko was doing, and people come up and say, but in Igbo language, you don't do this. That's your business. Point is this, right? We really can't say, my argument is that the particular OP that mentioned Memoirs of Geisha, as per Hollywood, always makes stories all the time from other countries. The point is, they make stories all the time, and these stories also get backlash all the time.
yes, but the kind of backlash
All the time.
matters, right? Some backlash is more substantial than others. Like, you can sit down and argue about accents or another Black person playing a role because they don't have the same accent, versus if they suddenly start showing that Igbo people are eating babies. Like, those are two different things. Like, the backlash that you
I,
would see
I,
for
I still
one
I still think
would
that it's the
not
same. That's
hit
why I said
that
my
kind of
argument is we
living.
really can't tell people how to react. We really cannot tell people how
Yeah,
to
but I
react.
can
That's
tell
the
you your
point.
reaction is a little overblown. I'm not telling you how to react. I'm just
Uh,
saying I don't like your
No,
reaction
you
is
can't.
overblown. So that, yes, I can. What
You
do
you
you
can't.
can't
mean?
tell
You can't
people
What
tell
that
am
it's
me
I
that
reacting to
overblown.
your reaction? Like,
hyperventilating for
why
3
can't I
hours was
know?
overblown. No, you
Why
cannot.
can my reaction to your reaction not be that your reaction is shit? Like, I don't get that.
And my reaction to your reaction that my reaction is shit is that your reaction to my reaction is
An
also shit.
inception.
Okay.
Change anything.
The second, I would say that like generally you would hold the people who own the story, like their reaction is more meaningful than what your reaction as an outsider would mean to it. I mean, isn't this what I feel like this is a big lesson we've learned in over the last, I don't know, 5 to 10 years about listening to person. I'm sure 2024 people have a term for this. But yes, lived experiences. That's the one. There we go. I'm sure that counts for something. All right.
But it's a work of fiction, so it's not anyone's lived experience. Like, that's the point.
No, but the
But
story,
the
the
story
story
is
is,
based on people's lived experiences.
yeah.
This
Guys,
this was a man who wrote a
also
book
your
during this was a man who wrote a book during colonial times about life in colonial times. The story is based on lived experiences. A
Okay.
lived experiences of a people.
Uh,
Fictionally.
guys,
Hey, Chineke na.
Kotoyom wants
all
to
right.
speak.
Hang on.
Kotoyom wants to speak, and he has.
Okay. All right. Don't worry. I know I said everybody can speak. Don't worry, because I've got it now. I'm hosting again. All right. Kuim, do you want to? You've had your hands up for a minute. Do you want to tell us what's on your mind? All right. Kuim is not there.
I'm here. I'm here.
Okay.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. So I did not miss the whole thing from the beginning, but I just want to say that there is for people. Most people who are trying to like. I've had a lot of discussions on this topic on Twitter, and most people that I see that are trying to justify it conflate the idea of adaptations with loose adaptations. For instance, the popular Quran series, Boys Over Flowers, was a loose adaptation of a Japanese novel, and they appropriated it to the fact that they use their own names, their schools, and everything from their culture. It doesn't stop the Japanese people from making their own adaptation of it. I think there was a Thailand adaptation too. Also, there was this. If you are going to make a movie, a story about a people, right? It has to be. You cannot appropriate it. It is wrong. I genuinely believe it is very, very wrong. That's my own belief. Because even this latest Japanese novel, the story that was told. I can't remember the title. It was a series. It had it collected many Emmys. I can't remember the title of that story.
Shogun. I just mentioned it a while
Shogun.
ago.
Yeah, thank you. Shogun, the main actor said specifically that he's not going to collect the contract unless several Japanese people are also included in the story. That every Japanese character in that story must be played by a Japanese person. It is not done. No other culture would accept this. And what I want us to understand is if we keep saying it doesn't matter, because that's what we said about Woman King, it doesn't matter. If they did this to it doesn't matter. They will keep doing it. And that's just how it goes there. Because there was an era, right, where white people appropriated so many cultures. For instance, after the last event that was based on, I watched the podcast on it where the creator said it was based on Asian cultures, but they use white people for most of the voice acting. But recently they want to make a movie about it, but they know that they cannot do that again because the backlash will be much. So they had to employ actual Asian voice actors to do that series. So I want us to understand that it is because of those activism that those people did back then that made them know that they cannot go get away with it again. So if we keep glazing over it and say it doesn't matter, they'll keep doing it. It just keep repeating itself. And at the end, because there are a lot of examples I can cite, but I'll just stop there because it is important that we keep emphasizing, even if they are going to do it now, that it is not right. This is an Igbo story. It should be told by those specific kind of type of people. And it is not so far fetched for us to say they should cast a book. There are a lot of people in Hollywood too. It's not like they have to come home to come and pick people. There are a lot of actors that are over there to struggling, and these are the kind of things that can help their careers too. So I don't think it's so much of a stretch, and it's not even a movie like someone said; it's a series. So these are something that they can use to push these people's career. So it's not too much to ask for, really. I do not think it's too much to ask for.
All right, thanks, William. Chinweke, do you have thoughts?
Hi everyone. Good evening. Yeah. It's been interesting to hear everyone's opinion on this. Everyone's opinion on this. So I'm curious as to why nobody's mentioning the people that actually sold the IP, because I feel like that's where all of this could have been solved. Because if they had maybe put their foot down on just like I mean, there's I don't know any actor that has that much power to say that if you don't cast Japanese people, I was even surprised that that thing passed in Hollywood because they can as well as just replace you. But I don't know that any Nigerian actor has that sort of power. But I think this is just a case of whoever sold the rights not really giving that much of a fuck as much as we do. So that's where the whole thing started. Because if it's someone that really like genuinely cared, I think all these things all these emotional responses, I don't think they're far fetched. I think I don't think they're overblown. I think they're pretty valid. So I'm just curious as to why nobody's mentioning that because I believe it's Chinua Achebe's estate that sold the rights or whoever is involved. So for me, that's where the whole thing started from. So whether I can't really blame this Elba because me as I am, so if I have money and see that kind of IP, whether it's Nigerian or not, I'll buy so long as the person is willing to sell. So that's just my own thought on this.
Yeah, that seems like a different. I know it sounds the same, but it seems like a different conversation because whether they sold it to uh, uh, Johnny down the streets or they sold it to King Philip, that's not really a concern anymore. Our concern is now that they want to make the film, how are we going to go about it? That's what I feel. And like, if any energy can be directed into, hey, we from whatever perspective you're saying it going, it would be better if it was through this lens, through this perspective. I think that's fine. How you sell your IP, that's really your business. To be honest, we've already mentioned this thing. Like we are going to a degree, we're going around in circles because we already mentioned this. And anybody that's saying, "Oh, I don't like this," they're talking about what currently is happening with any decision currently. Idris Elba as a lead star right now, I don't like the way that feels. That's what some people are trying to say. Like whatever that's whoever sold the IP, that's not their business. It's not their business. Income.
Yeah, I just want to do a pushback. No, it's actually on you, but it's something you said a long time ago or something. I just want to say this.
You're wrong.
I know you always say that. It's okay. It doesn't stop me from talking anyway. I just want to say this. Yes, in the grand scheme of things, it's a Nigerian story. But this specific film and thing is not our story. It's not meant for us. It's meant for the American conversation. Okay. And I also want to say this. Here's an example. When they made Ghost in the Shell and they cast what's her name? Charlotte, or what's her name? What's the name of the actress? Yeah,
Scarjo.
that white woman, Scarlett Jones, right? They went to go interview people in Japan. I remember now, Japan has their own reputation of like Ghost in the Shell. A lot of Asian Americans were really upset, and I agree with them. They were kind of upset. I get it. They went to go ask the Japanese who live in Japan about them casting Charlotte Johansson to play the Japanese character, and the people in the streets in Japan were like, "Well, it's an American movie, and if they wanted to cast that person, okay." This is too, and I'm not telling anybody.
Hello,
Wait,
let
wait,
me
let me.
interject something real quick. Let me inject something real quick. The
Kenna,
funny thing about that is not only were the Japanese people not angry at Scarlett Johansson being cast, but they were like, you know what? It's even better that you cast a white person than if you cast a quote unquote Asian person. That they would have been more upset if you cast a Korean or a Chinese person than they would have been if you had cast a white person.
This is
Yes.
the thing I wanted to say. All these things about race and all these things about something. This is why I particularly, maybe because I have the benefit of being Nigerian and grew up in Nigeria, watching Nigerian representation and everything. I don't care what Americans do. They want to buy that movie and they want to do some stupid story. Okay.
But these guys are British.
Or British. I don't care. I don't care what British you do. Okay, so far we are going to know. Everybody's going to know that that is an American shit. That is viewed from an American standpoint. All hat, all kind of text is viewed from the standpoint and cultural something that they're born in. So this is not ours. We already even have a Okonkwo story already, played by the lovely, although maybe I don't agree with some of his thoughts, Peter Doce. And we're going to have more in the future. All we
That
can
adaptation
do,
kind of
yes,
sucks,
yes,
though.
I get everybody's feelings and everybody's right. I'm not saying what everybody brought up are legitimate points, because you know what, things are complicated and everybody brought up a legitimate point. But to chill yourself down, this ain't us. It is theirs. We own the book. They are going to pretend to be in Nigeria. They're going to pretend in everything. Just like as much as, again, the reason why the Woman King was like the way it was, making slavers freedom writer is because of the way African Americans tell their story and everything. I know this because I'm here and I engage in that conversation. And I got where they're coming from completely. I thought it was completely, I'm like, you're misrepresenting history. But I get it. It is a conversation within America, or it's a conversation within Britain. They just happen to be the larger country. And because their exports is always everywhere, it doesn't mean you have to take what they're saying seriously.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not telling you what to feel. Let me just finish this. This is what you're going to do. Or this is what I'm going to do. The same way I did with Woman King. As much as I make fun of, I say those things. I watched that movie. I paid ticket. I went to the field. I watched the movie and I was eating and I was laughing. I was dying ass laughing. I'm going to watch this show. I'm going to take a popcorn. I know this is going to be historically wrong, because anyway, anything will always be historically wrong, even if Nigerians did it. I know this is going to be crazy. I know this is going to be more taking like American view into something into something view. But I don't care what white people do. I don't care what Westerners do. And I say Westerners, I don't care. So far they know. The only thing that will piss me off is that if they said this is legitimate and this is like we went to Africa and we did, I'll just be like, you didn't.
I get your point. You don't care. All right. So my pushback to your pushback is on two fronts. Number one is, it seemed like he told me that a bunch of people cared here. Maybe, I don't know whether you mentioned Asian Americans or something like that, or people here cared, and people in Japan did not care. Well, that's good. Whatever. My point is that you listen to, my point is that people should be allowed to express themselves. And if the people here are saying they don't care, then, well, it's different than
But the people here care.
I do agree.
That's what I'm saying.
What I say does not deny you expressing yourself.
Wait. I've not finished. So, right. The first thing is that you let everybody speak, and, and it seems to me like the people here, the people whose story you're kind of taking, it seems like they care. Whatever. Do with that what you will, right? The other thing is that you can say, oh, I don't care what the Americans or the British do. That's fine. It's not really about one person, because media has been shaping people's narratives about other people for a long time. That you don't care what they do doesn't mean that it cannot impact you or your generations in the future, because that's how powerful media is. We can go, oh, I don't care what they do with this, I don't care what they do with that. It doesn't matter. It's going to, the people who are watching it, the many people, the wide reach it has, will still have an effect on you. Now, I'm not saying that this means that they can completely botch it in the way that it negatively impacts us, but I'm just saying it doesn't hold up to go, I don't care. Because my worry, again, I'll repeat it, my number one fear is that this thing is successful in a way that I dislike. Like, it's successful in a way that I don't agree with. That's my big fear.
It will be successful in that way that you don't agree with. Woman King was successful in a way that I don't agree with. And whenever somebody brought it up, my simple thing is just, I'll stand to correct you.
I
It's
can't go
okay.
around
Like,
correcting all the millions
Oyinkon,
of people who
that's
Oyinkon,
watch
it.
it.
I'm
Oyinkon,
I
talking from my
can't
own
do that.
perspective. I'm
Oyinkon, I would like to say something about this Woman King situation, and I think I get where Mr. C is coming from. It will be successful, but the point is, the moment it is successful and there's no significant backlash, is going to become the norm. So that's one. Two, we're seeing in 2023, 2024 that more Asian production, more Hollywood production tailored to
Yeah.
or co-opting or adopting Asian stories are painstakingly taking time now to hire Asian actors from the actual country so that they will not get the backlash that they go from stuff like Memories of Geisha. You mentioned Scarlett Jo acting and a Japanese character, and they did not bother. You know what would have bothered them? The same way it bothered them when they made the casting for Memories of Geisha, using Chinese people to or Koreans to portray Japanese, they will go to war. So here is the thing, because you need to understand again context, right? It's the same way that if a West African is acting an Eastern African, or an Eastern African is acting a West African. I'm using the word loosely, and I'm joining a lot of West African together because sometimes we don't mind, the whole Ghanaian, Nigerian collabo. But my point is, you understand the context, the contextual, the underlining when we are dealing with context. Okay, look at Woman King, what's her name? I keep forgetting the director. She's going to be directing this babe's fantasy book, right? Children of Blood and Blood. Nigerians didn't care. The only thing Nigerians cared about, or should I say that the actors, people who put in efforts to maybe send videos for audition or whatever, is that they had assumed that this production would make use of Nigerian cast, only for them to go again with the Hollywood facing cast. So point is, but you realize that not a lot of people really bothered about that story again, because one, it is fantasy, right? She used Nigerian sounding names, Nigerian, yeah, whatever, but people don't feel the same kinship to that story. In fact, people probably even after that funny showdown with Nora Roberts, people really don't find any kind of kinship with that babe in the way that people feel this emotionally tied to things fall apart. Again, me, I really don't care about it, but I hear them, I see them. I don't have any topic. In fact, if there's anything that will bother me, which again doesn't bother me, is the accuracy of language, because I find it fascinating in films and how Hollywood adapts or adopts languages. But again, that's just my own business. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Even all of these things might not matter, but the point is, if there is a concerted effort to sort of like push back in such a way where maybe there will be another production coming up, people don't come walk all over us. But the moment you allow one to pass, two to pass, where Asians have gotten to in their own advocacy on using the act, look at Pachinko. Pachinko too is a Hollywood production, but they took their time to use Japanese actors and Korean actors, even though it is Hollywood, right? It is a completely American story because the person who wrote it is, second, third generation immigrant. So my point end is that we can't tell people how to, but I think someone else, I don't remember who said, maybe it was Koim, I can't remember who said it, that if there is a concerted effort to sort of like push back on, or rather insist rather, that maybe there's a form of indigenous representation of these stories, then why not?
Now I'm going to like what you're saying. Everybody is legitimate. I do agree with whatever, but you have to know what is the reasons why Japanese don't like Koreans or Chinese in Americans to have it. It's because they have a particular history with Koreans and Chinese, and usually it's because of national and cultural something. It's a conversation within that country, but also just because the Japanese didn't care because they were Japanese, the Asian American in this country is different from Asians living in Asia. They cared. The Asians living in Asia were the ones that cared because that was also a job that they were not received. It's also whenever people complain, they were complaining about money, and we make sense because they always hire white people all the time. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't give it backlash because Lord knows I was out here telling people whoever talks to me. I told my colleagues that, oh yeah, you can watch Woman King, it's a good movie, but when you watch it, just know that they did this, that, 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 that. I will tell people that I like particularly. This is what I'm trying to say. Like all of it, what everybody's saying is legitimate. Yes, we should definitely give them a backlash. We should definitely be making fun of it. That's why I was saying, make fun of it. Make fun of it. Let the Americans know that their views is not the only views of the world. That's it.
All right.
I don't
Thanks.
particularly
Thanks,
care
thanks.
when I say that. Just
Austin, is it Austin?
I
Actually, Otas. Okay, sorry. Let's go on.
But I was going to even agree with you, Mr. C, and this is why nobody likes you. But I was going to agree with Mr. C, because he was saying something earlier about how he's more so interested in how you can make the story better or tell the story better. And I feel like something that we're missing pretty significantly with movies like Shogun, he was the producer of the show. He wasn't just an actor in the show. And what went wrong with Half of a Yellow Sun is that the producers are two Caucasian women. And when you look at things that are from certain cultures and how they are told, the behind the scenes staff matters probably a lot more than the actors who show up on the screen, because it's hard to tell a story from a cultural perspective that you don't understand. Shogun insisted on not just hiring, for instance, a Japanese actors to play Japanese roles, but they flew in like staff and people who could historically tell the story they were trying to tell as correctly as possible. That really matters a lot more than who is playing Okonkwo. To me, I'm not saying, in fact, I'm disagreeing. Feel however you feel, but I am disagreeing with your feeling. I just feel like when it comes to the telling of a story, the producer, the director, those people are a lot more important in getting a accurate or more accurate story told. And if they're going to make the story better, they're going to need to have Nigerian voices in positions that matter a lot more significantly. I don't know which producer or director I'd recommend, because I don't know a single really good one in
Idris
Nigeria.
and David Oyelowo are producing. Again, part of the problem.
Olowo is neither here nor there. He's just on
Exactly. Idris and David
the
Oyelowo are producing. Yoruba Saxon. Guys.
the person that people that are using as producers and directors is going to matter a lot more in telling a better, more cohesive Nigerian story.
That's why I'm
Than
telling you, they are the ones who are producing. So maybe directing is where we should be putting our eye. But then again, that's
you're not
neither here or
as
there.
either of them are Nigerian enough to be able to
That's what
tell.
I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you because you keep saying whoever they choose for producers, they are the ones who are producing.
I understand that. And I'm saying to tell the better story, a more cohesive story, they need to think about somebody else who has a better lens into the culture that they're trying to tell.
All right. Austin.
That is, if they want to tell a cultural story, they may not be trying to tell a cultural
They're
story,
telling a
which is
culture story
perfectly
by
fine.
definition. Just because of where it's set in and the timeline it's set in and what the story is about. You can't really say I'm not telling a cultural story while telling a cultural story. It's not a real cultural story, but it's still a cultural story.
Okay, as to shock you.
No, I think that things fall apart is a Shakespearean tragedy. You know, you could, if you wanted to, you could strip that story out of its setting and stage it in Japan, and the story would still hold relevance. If you want to take that approach to it, where what you care about is the actual story, then that's one thing. Now, if you want to treat it as a cultural document, which is what I wish they would do, that's another. And I think that if you're doing it in a cultural document, it must be in Igbo. But if you want to do it in English, it's just a Shakespearean tragedy.
also, just to mention, there are Japanese criticism of Shogun. We just don't hear it because it's written originally. The book is written by a white man, and there are Japanese criticism of it, and there are also some Korean criticism of Pachinko because it's written by a third generation person.
All right.
So
Cool.
we just are not
Yeah,
hearing
but
that much anymore.
Oyinkon, but you get my
I
point
get
because
your
when I
point. I
said it
get your
was written
point.
by
I get.
third generation
Got
American.
it. Sorry, Austin has been waiting to speak. Sorry, Austin, please go on. Austin, unmute yourself and Austin. Okay, Chinweke.
Yeah, so I'm here with another
Hi
side
everyone, good
conversation.
evening.
Sorry, Chinweke,
Good evening.
give Austin 1 sec. He's back.
All
Austin, are
right,
you there?
let me check for him too.
Oh, yes, I'm here. Sorry about that. Good evening everyone. Uh, Yeah, the points that have been made so far are very serious, and I think a lot of people have really reached some very fine points.
Sorry, is
I
everybody
think
is
the
network breaking for everybody
I,
else? Is
I
it
can you
can
just
hear
hear
me?
me?
him. I can hear
I
him,
can hear
Mr.
him
C.
pretty clearly.
Okay, it's just me. All right. Sorry. Austin, go on.
Okay, so I was saying that for me I was quite excited actually when I heard that the story was being adapted, and when I heard the studio that was adapting it, 824, 824 is I mean, I feel like I was more excited when I even heard that 824 is going to be involved. Now 824 is it's not a mainstream studio. It's sort of they sort of cater to filmmakers, people that they go, diverse.
Now he's breaking, Mr. C. You're not
Leave
there.
the layers in the first place because I didn't see the future. All right. Okay. I actually want to round up that particular discussion, because I think we have exhausted it, to be honest. I think the general gist is some people are like, yeah, let's have it go, whatever, and some people are like, I'm worried about it, and I think both if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, to be honest. Um, before we move on to the
Hi, can you hear me now?
yeah, but I have a feeling you're going to go back again because you just muted and unmuted yourself, to be honest, Austin. Uh, sorry. Wanted to move on to maybe, you know what? Okay, let's not say we're moving on. Let me just use another news that is sort of parallel to that broke down this week. That's sort of parallel to this, where Edity is after his first truly global Nollywood hit. He is making a film about Nigerian brothers going to, is it immigrating to the NFL? Do we think of, does America need to worry about? All right, I'm just saying, like, we're going to do NFL. I don't know whether it's a feature film or a TV show. Is that in any way parallel to doing a Things Fall Apart adaptation? Do you? Anyway, yeah.
I think it's parallel to Cool Runnings.
Sorry.
Oh
No,
god!
I'm not playing. I'm not playing.
But
That's what it is. It's a fish out of water story about somebody coming from another country where they don't play a particular sport and trying to
isn't
excel in
Cool
that
Runnings
sport. It's
massively offensive to the Jamaicans? I can't remember. I'm pretty.
I mean, Cool Runnings was played more for comedy, and I doubt this will be, but it is basically the same storyline.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Uh, anyway. Well, I didn't to discuss about how that's going to go. I think if you watch the Black Book,
My
probably
only
more of
comment
that.
is he's about to make his second truly global.
I'm not. I would say he's about to make his second first truly global. It happens. Some people can get multiple first truly globals. You don't even know. All right. Okay. What else have we? What else have we been watching? What have we been watching this week? Has anybody watched the Lisabi thing, or what's been?
Yeah,
Yeah.
briefly ventured into Lisabi. Briefly. Very, very briefly. And I just think we need to take a break from epics. That is genuinely, I feel like even within our own culture, maybe we need to do more consultation of actual historical. I don't know, man. Go to a village somewhere and spend a year gisting with some chiefs and old women, and then come back and tell us a story. But I'm only like 30 minutes in, so I'm trying to be mindful, but it does not look great. It feels worse than every other epic that has come before it. This feels like the worst I've seen Latif. Even the worst I've seen Mr. Macaroni. Like I don't know. And it was only on screen for a little bit, so I don't know. It's not giving.
Oh wow! Yeah, I have to say I saw this as well. I managed, I think, 15 minutes, just about to where I where Latif. Actually, no, and then I went back I went in today to see what I could do more after the first 15 minutes, and I got to the rapes, and I was like, okay, I get it, and all right. So if you one of the reasons why I noped out, by the way, wasn't even because too many things were particularly outrageously bad. It's just it just feels like more of the same thing. It's we have a very bad leader, very bad guy. Look how bad he is. He likes rapes. You know, even when he's not doing it, he likes when his boys are doing it. They're gonna go kill innocent people. Oh, and it seems like there's going to be some brave person who is going to have to stand up to the bad blokes. But one thing I want to talk about is how is our filmmaking and how I've never seen. It feels like these epics should be the time for the closest thing we have to an identity to come forward. Because honestly, I feel like the Yoruba actors in there, they have a flavor. They have a type of acting that I feel is uniform. But everything else in terms of the filmmaking, it's being borrowed from all over the place. There's all this unnecessary slow motion. The music is so melodramatic. It's just like everything is supposed to be 100. I'm not only talking about the first 20, 25 minutes of this film. And if everything's at 100, well, then nothing, it doesn't mean anything. And I don't know why we're still doing all of this nonsense. Well, I guess to be honest, for me the major issue is just the mixture of I can see like Bollywood inspiration in here. I can see some of the frames are like almost like something you would see in a European art house movie. Just one out of like 100 shots. So by the way, because it's not consistent. And then but then you also have the actors doing your super serious incantations and all of that. That could all go well, but like all of that they used to have a style that was all uniform, but now we are borrowing filmmaking methods from all these other things. You don't understand that when Bollywood are doing a lot of this over the top things, that they have their tongue firmly placed across their cheeks, but you're doing it and you're thinking, I'm the baddest person. And it's so serious and it just comes across, for me anyway, as super funny and just just cringe. It's sometimes it's unintentionally funny, but yeah, that was my thoughts from the first like 20 or 30 minutes.
Sorry, because there's this babe, I can't remember her name. I'm sorry calling her a babe, it's disrespectful. She's like a producer or director or something who was talking about how she's a duo at heart, but she's Yoruba, and so she wants to do like a duo epic. And the way that thing scares me, up to this point, they have left my people alone. Like, leave us alone. We don't want to be part of this. Just leave our history alone. Just leave it where it's at, please.
All right, Elizabeth.
I did not watch Lisabi, so have no opinion about that.
Hey, wait, Elizabeth, before
I'll
you
actually
go,
not be
I just
watching.
want to say something about Lisabi, according to Mr. C, and then you can talk about the film you are watching. Sorry. Mr. C, based on your comments, I guess the Yoruba epic agrees with me that Bollywood is the future of Nollywood. I'm sorry.
Thank you for
I'm done now. I'm done now. I'm done now.
All right, Elizabeth, what were you going to say about what are you watching? Are you watching something else?
Yeah, I wanted to say that I've not been watching any Nigerian big production because I'm only human and I have limits. I have limits. Like I asked them myself that they did not give me assignments. Nobody's paying me. This is just my time and my data. Why will I watch something that will get me angry? So I have freed myself from the shackles of Nigerian films on Netflix, on the Blue app, and all of you. But I want to talk about YouTube because I'm still watching that one. So I want to talk about YouTube because I'm still watching that one. I used to just go watch on Omani Oboli's YouTube channel because she's the only one that has the semblance to maybe pay. I don't quote me, paying her writers because at least the writing sometimes it do usually make sense. But I want to talk about how I found myself watching a film from Bimbo Ademoye. That film is still annoying me till today. Cannot remember the title. Vanessa, can you remember the title? Who
I
watched
can't
that
remember
film?
the title, but it has something to do with a. It's a
It
two
was a
word.
film
Was
about
Yes.
killing
Timmy in it?
children.
Was
Hmm?
Timmy in it? Was he with Timmy?
No, no,
No,
no,
no, no, no, no, no,
no, not
That's not the
Timini.
one I
no,
watched.
no. It's not that one. It
That
was the
was it
second
was
one from
Chioma
her. It was her
Chukwuka.
second release. Something,
Oh, it was a
something
horrible
is
film.
similar. She tried to do something like in the sky. It's not. I can't remember the name. Sha.
Yeah, some stars in the
Star,
sky or
something. The
something.
star, something of that nature. Yes.
Please, try see, guys. I hope to God that I do not remember the title because it is not horrible. I'm not asking you to go and watch it, so I will not tell you the title. So it started on fine. It started on fine like YouTube standard, and you ask yourself like, not too bad, not too shabby. It was just talking about an abusive man. And Ernest, I'm not telling you guys in the film. I'm just trying to tell you how it went wrong. Ernest Obi was there. It was the first time I'm seeing him in like another decade or 15 years. Acted really good. And before I knew what was going on, they were killing babies. Why? Bimbo Ademoye, why? So I now asked myself, Nollywood, are you after my life? Is this it? Is this how we eventually stop being together? I think this is it actually. I've stopped watching Netflix, I've stopped watching Prime, I've stopped going to the movies, to the cinemas. I really don't care about it again. I've relegated myself to YouTube, but now I'm now only watching what's her name? What's her name? Omoni Oboli. And one day maybe she'll make one bad film and I'll be like, that is, I'll toss the entire thing out of the window. And just say that I like one film, Sha. Case for the Heart. Yes, Bam Bam and Majid. It's on YouTube, guys. Thank you.
Wait, when you say killing babies, what is this? Are we talking abortion? What's going on?
Oh, I
No,
exaggerate. I
no,
am
no.
exaggerating, but they actually did kill. They made a baby. They made a boy, maybe 10, 11, 12, kill another girl that was his friend. And the moral of the lesson, the ending was if you stay with an abusive man, your son will kill his friend and hide her in his room for days. If you are a single mother and you allow your daughter just play around in the estate with another boy, the boy will kill her and it will be your fault. To Jesus be the glory.
And there
That
are
was how they
other
ended that film.
nuances in this film that are also equally as disturbing, guys. So, as a whole, just a disturbing film. Don't watch it.
Well,
Don't do it. And I think
abusive
somebody should
man
get
to
because it's
migrant
a
son
very Yoruba
pipeline is
film.
not that
It's
far fetched.
it's a it's a very Yoruba film-esque film. Like this, the line of reason is very because Yoruba films too, they like to think with their brain in their ass. So it's very in tandem with that kind of when you're trying to be melodramatic, you're trying to be sentimental, you want people to watch. I want to force my audience to cry. And really, maybe this is why we should be revisiting film as a medium, storytelling as a medium, because not even the local Yoruba stories will you even hear something like this. But ever since they've been making stupid films, Bimbo too has joined. Anyways, she gets views like 3 million, 4 million. People like, oh my god, I cried. Our industry is in trouble, guys. People are crying to a very stupid
But what
message.
was your beef with the story? Was it that it wasn't well done, wasn't well acted? Is it the story itself? Is it that you did not?
The story is that why is this 10 years old killing another 12 years old and hiding her in his room? He was always battered by his dad.
Okay.
And then this film ended it with, oh, if you're married to a man that beats your son will kill his friend. To Jesus be the glory. And the mom now had to lie that she was the one that killed the girl So the mom now went to
So do you
jail.
feel like the
I
story
don't know.
is
Make of it what you
You
unrealistic?
will.
know what? I will say.
What's
Hold
I
on,
think the
Anita.
writer was
what's
working
And
from.
realistic
give me a
about it?
second. Give me a second.
I don't even know about realistic. It's a stupid film. I don't know what's the film because films always know what they want to
Right.
say. But whatever message this film is trying to pass, it's insane. It makes no sense. There's no reason to make children their own enemy because he gets beaten by his dad. The villains of the film. Then the other girl, why did she die? All she did because she was born to again, the message was upside down. Was it because she was born to a single mom? Because there was a scene where she was talking to a stranger in the car and somebody said, don't talk to strangers in the car. So it was almost as if they were saying that strange men may not kill your child, but your child's best friend will. I
But
don't know
I'm
that's
what
that's
message
familiar
like
this film
because
was
I'm
saying.
familiar.
what we tell people all the time is that you're
uh,
more likely to be hurt by someone who's familiar to
I
you
don't know about it happening all
than
the time. I've
strangers.
not seen a 10 years old kill their
A
friend and
14-year-old
hide
I'm
that
familiar
friend
with
that
in
what's
doesn't
their
going
know
on
over
room
their
here.
head
for a
is
Let me
week.
freaking
explain what's
out.
going on here. So what has happened is that Isabel watched a film and it was absolutely nuts, and something the nuts part of the story they wasn't well executed. It wasn't well set up. It felt like
So that's
it
what I was
just
trying to
happened.
understand, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
is it a way that the story is told? Is it
that's
that the story is not set up well? But, because it
Maybe
sounds
others
like
go and
that's the
watch it
problem with
too,
the story
because I don't.
itself.
The point is, it's a twisted
Exactly.
story.
Because
It is
you're
a
giving her
twisted
another
story.
reason. Because it
Sorry,
sounds
and
like you
then
have a
and
problem
then
with the actual
No, what
the
reason did I
abusive
give
man, he
before?
too
What
will do
reason did I
kind of
give
go
before?
scot free. Oh.
Thank you. The
The
man that beats
abusive
the
man, he
boy,
do go scot free.
he went scot
So
free.
isn't that more
The
realistic
mother
than an abusive man
went
being
to
arrested
jail.
in Nigeria?
I don't know about this
Well,
realism
like,
or
what
task
is the
because
problem
nobody
you have
goes to
with the
watch film
story?
for, oh my God, it's realistic.
so yeah.
But what
It
is
is
the
not about
problem you're
it being
having with the
realistic.
story?
So
I've already told you if you don't want to get it,
So
I
that
can't
it's
help you. The film
twisted
is on
is what
YouTube. You can watch it. If you don't have a problem with it, that's fine. I'm just talking about what I have a
Sorry, what's the
problem with,
title again?
and I really think it's
yeah,
ours.
when
Something in the stars
shining
in the
star,
sky,
shining
something
star.
big.
yeah
Does the
It's a
title ever
horrible
resonate
film, but
anywhere in the story?
when
the children can act. That's a good one. The children can act. Ernest Obi was acting his ass off. But I don't know what's going. Then the third act descended into the craziest thing you can
I've been in
imagine.
this
I really don't think we should be handling children's story or talking about kids in that manner. Again, my opinion, it's an arts film. I really cannot even draw a parallel. I can't remember what other film was talking like this in a way that I can even say, oh, so
so
realistic.
Elizabeth,
I've
you
been
know
in
the
this
problem is
situation.
that
Wait, Oinko, wait. I've been in this situation before where I've just watched Nollywood do a film that's absolutely crazy, and you're explaining the plots to somebody, and you're like, "Well, I guess I've seen that happen somewhere before," and they're looking at you like, What's the problem here?" And I promise you, the problem is just how all of these things are executed. When somebody's telling you, because the crazier the plot line, the more better your filmmaking skills have to be. The more you have to like be careful. I think I was watching one film. I think this was I tweeted about this, right? Saying this is the widest film I've ever seen, and it was a film about um a woman taking her husband to court because she felt that she was being raped every now and then because she would. I think. Well, was she pregnant? She got pregnant. But she's been pregnant twice. Yes. So and I was like, what? So he's he's just been drugging and raping you, and that, and recently there was there's a guy who has been the French. If anybody has followed the French case that's going on, someone can go, well, it does happen. But if you watch that film, if you watch the film I watch, you know how insane everything is. Plus the resolution. Plus, the resolution, the way it ends, you know how batshit insane that is, and that it's not just that, this is wild. How can everyone endure this? You just need to understand, go through the journey to understand the mental damage somebody must have gone through to put that
Remember that film we watched that was made by one of these guys where they cut up a dog, cooked it, and fed it to the owner or something, and nothing just seemed to make
Yes,
sense.
yes, I remember
Yeah,
that.
imagine watching that film. Now, this one is even different because it seemed like it was a linear story, a story about a mother that did nothing while her husband was extremely abusive to her son. There was no motivation for that abuse. There was no motivation for why she stayed or anything. And then that story went from that to him now finding solace with a new girl in the street, in the estate. They became friends, and he was friends with that girl. And then the girl's mom is a single mom. Let's note that. And then before we knew it, the third act descended to the girl got missing, and everybody thought it was the abusive dad. And everything pointed at the abusive dad, only for the mom to walk into her son's room and father that he mistakenly was playing with his friend, hit her mistakenly, then she died, pulled her to his room and covered her with blankets for days. And then he ended up with both mother and son crying. She was like, "Don't worry, I'll cover up for you." And next thing, she told the police, "I was the one, I killed her." And so there's this single mom in the estate that has lost a child. And this woman that her abusive husband used to beat up this, like serious beat, the entire first and second half was about this man beating this kid, beating up this kid. Now, the child with the only the only reasonable parents will go to jail. The father that caused all that harm will go scot-free. I don't know what this story was trying to tell me. In fact, I was in my feelings for so long. I was like, what the heck did I just watch? But if you think it is realistic and you see it all the time on your streets, that's fine.
I just want to say
So
what
it
has
feels like
happened here.
Elizabeth is saying something different from what Mr. C is saying. And that is probably what Mr. C is trying to explain. Mr. C is talking about having a problem with the story structure because the story itself doesn't follow a plot line that makes sense, which is what you bring up with that dog example, because the way they got the dog and all of the surrounding aspects of the dog didn't make sense, which is something completely different from just finding a story gruesome or just thinking they shouldn't have done that versus the story isn't being told properly. That's what I was trying to understand.
Even if it was not gruesome, does it sound proper to you? Let's just
I
I
just
talk.
haven't
want to
watched
say
it,
Did I
so I
just not
can't
mention
tell you whether
motivation
they told
here?
the story properly or
So
not.
you, you are
I'm
arguing
not
with me
arguing
about a film
anything.
that you have not
What I
watched, but you
asked
just
you was
really.
what exactly was the problem that you were having, and what you were saying earlier.
I told you so many things. I told you so many things, but I think that every single problem that I've told you does not
No,
seem to satisfy
that's
you.
not what
So
you're
maybe
not
go and watch it.
understanding. So we can move on.
Okay. Okay. All right. Okay.
I just want to say that maybe Nigerian writers should stop watching K dramas because that's a K drama story right there.
Yeah.
That's a K drama.
I think I hear you on that one. Like the especially Asian cinema is filled with doing some shocking things in their films, but there's just so
How
much
many
more
often times
skilled,
kill people
just so much
accidentally
more
in K
skilled
drama?
at doing a bunch of things. Huh? What?
No, I'm saying, do you know how many times kids kill accidentally in K drama? Even the bullying in K drama, you're like,
Oh,
don't they have
this one does not seem like accidental, Shad. This is
no,
managed.
no, no, or they don't sometimes in K drama they don't accidentally do it. They do it purposefully. And there
Wow.
is no sometimes in K drama, there's really no good reason other than I envy you. And you're like, everybody has regular jealousy. No regular jealousy pushes people to go kill people. And it's crazy. I'm telling you. It's crazy. Yeah. Nigerian writers, stop watching K drama. K
All
drama,
right.
you know.
Has anybody been watching anything else? Anything else they
When
wanted
she
to
said
share?
Bimba Ademoye, I thought she was actually going to talk about Ruse, but guess not.
No.
I watched one with Timini and Bimbo. I kind of liked it, you know, although Timini dies in the end. I
Eh?
don't,
Is that the one
yeah,
with Shafi?
but then again, they kind of was setting it up a little bit that he was going to have like I think it was a liver sort of disease, and Timini's character was a fucking asshole, but then they fell in love, and Timini became a better person,
Mm.
This
you know.
character was an asshole.
Emma wo film
What?
o.
What?
Sorry.
So that one was
I don't
it's on
believe
Bimbo
it. I won't
Aimo's
believe it.
TV something. Excuse me.
I I
It's on
can't believe it.
it's on her something. So that one I kind of it was okay for.
All right.
For what's it called? YouTube
Uh,
movie.
I want to shout out.
Chinweke,
Sorry, I want to shout out an unpopular Nollywood film. Like, it's not what. Weirdly enough, she was one of the few OGs who was on YouTube for a while. It's Ojuaki Song's YouTube channel. There's a film with my wife, who I have married and paid her bride price, just warning everybody off. Ekamaetim Iyang and Uzo Arukwe. And I found that with all the advent of people like Biba Ademoye and the rest, this channel don't be cracking 1 million. And I think they do deserve to crack me 1 million because they are one of the few channels that I go back to. I really like this film with Uzo Arukwe and Ekama. I was wondering how it would go, but they had really good chemistry. I thought it was cute. I thought it was funny. Um, so everybody go and watch. I've got the name of the film, but he do day on it's either Udwakiso, he do Udwakiso YouTube channel.
so you don't know the channel, you don't know the
It's
name. This kind of
Udwaki song, it's
advertising.
Udwaki song, and it is. I just
I
say
hope they're not paying.
sorry. I was overtaken
They
by
should,
Ekama Etimiyan's beauty. I don't know what to tell you. She's just beautiful. Nollywood put
they should
Ekama
collect their refund
Etimiyan
for
give
this
things.
marketing that you're
She's
doing. They should
beautiful, and
things.
please, everybody, watch Ekama Etimiyan. Anything that Ekama Etimiyan is, just watch it. You will be overcome with beauty.
All right. Okay. All right. Chinweke, do you want to give us your thoughts? What have you been watching?
Yeah, sure. Does it have to be Nollywood though?
No, at
Oh,
this
okay.
point.
All right, okay, cool. I just stumbled across scenes from a marriage, and my goodness,
Which
Oscar
one,
Isaac,
the film or the
scenes from
TV? Okay, TV
scenes from
show.
a marriage. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a mini. Have you seen? I don't know
there's,
if you've seen it.
there's a film. There's a film about it. So it's an old film. So I was
Oh,
wondering which
yeah,
version
yeah.
you were talking
Oh no, no,
about.
no.
Okay.
It's the version with Jessica Chastain and Oscar Isaacs.
Okay.
And it was like an acting masterclass. Like Jesus Christ, they were just showing off at that. Like it just felt too. I've been obsessed with it, so I've been taking my time watching it just to like a palate cleanser for all the Nollywood I've been consuming. So I'm just
Sorry,
recommending
what's the title again? Sorry.
scenes from a marriage.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. So
All
it's
right. Thanks,
it's
Rick.
it's phenomenal, man.
All right. Thanks. Cynthia.
Well, so I've been listening, and I only became a speaker because I just wanted to say that no matter the mess that's happening in Nollywood, please, nobody should disrespect Korean film industry. I'm begging you people, okay? Because when Onyeka started speaking, saying Nollywood is trying to be like K-drama, they are killing people, they're doing this thing. See, I'm in a
Look here, you know
wait,
they've been killing people. You know they've been killing people up and down,
Onyeka.
all up and down.
Oh, Yinka, please. I'm in a bad mood. I've been in a bad mood throughout this week. And I've been looking for how to transfer my aggression. And I love you so much, and I don't want to transfer my aggression to you, okay? But no matter the mess Nollywood is, I just want to say do not disrespect Korean film industry. Okay? And even when they kill people, even if it's a fantasy or even if it's a bullying movie, there's a reason for it to happen, okay? Please do not disrespect Korean film industry. That's what I want to say. I mean, you people have your industry that somebody wants to make a national football league. You people have a lot of problem. He wants to tell people that somebody left Nigeria to go and be playing for Cowboy Dallas, be Dallas Cowboys. You people have problem. Leave Korean film industry. Leave Korean film industry alone. Okay, so that thing really pissed me off, and I was like, no, I can't listen and take that disrespect. No, 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 no. And honestly, if Nigeria have been watching K drama, I mean, if they have been watching and if they have been paying attention to K drama, our movies and our series will not be this bad. Sorry, it's horrible and it's so bad. So no, do not try it again. It's pissing me off, or it has pissed me off. It's not. It's not continuous.
I watch K drama a lot. Okay,
Yes,
I'm
you
here with
love.
you.
So please.
And let me tell you something, because I watch it a lot, they've also pissed me off I'm watching a romance, and then all of a sudden it turns into they're killing people. Let me tell you, once Sky Castle came, once Sky Castle was successful, they copied Sky Castle. Random people be dying for random shit now. You are watching a romance drama. You're watching a romance comedy, and now somebody has died, and you're like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
But there's motivation.
There's
The
motivation,
point
and
is
it's
there's
all
motivation.
There's
let's leave
motivation,
Sky
sure, but
alone.
I'm like, why?
Okay, as much as I'd like to litigate a K-drama fight first, not quite the film club for that, but we can we can maybe we can have one of
I have
this.
other things to talk now. Why are you muting me?
Sorry, it's just
The
everybody
only
was at that time we were fighting.
I started today by saying I've been in a bad mood this week, and I've been looking for how to transfer my aggression. Do you
Sorry,
want the aggression, Ikini?
go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So I was really pissed with that. But anyways, I've not been watching Nollywood because I mean I'm already in a bad mood and I can't dampen my mood more than the way it is already. But something bad happened to me and I went into French movies this week. So I've just been watching some French movies and I've been enjoying it. Yes, it doesn't make sense. The plots can be scattered, but it's also like just satisfying. So in a day, I watched like 3 French movies. They were old movies, anyways. Friend Zone, Spoiled Brat, Nothing to Hide. Nothing to Hide was the only one that had sense. But it was fun watching them. And then I watched The Perfect Couple on Netflix. Foolish me. I've been seeing The Perfect Couple trending dance on TikTok with the old criminal, criminal. And I was like, oh my God, Love Island USA had this trending dance when they were dancing and they were saying, I came here for love. So my brain was like, this is going to be a reality TV show. Like I said, I've been in a bad mood, so I wasn't reading anything. And I clicked on it, and it was not a reality TV show. But because I've started, I finished it. I did enjoy it, but I watched Nobody Wants This yesterday, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was just a sweet romance, sweet comedy, no hurdles, no killing, just hug, kisses, no breakup. And it was really sweet. So, you guys, if you guys are looking for something to watch that has romance and comedy on Netflix, please watch Nobody Wants This because that's the only sensible thing. That's the only sensible film I watched throughout this week. Thank you.
Wow, a
Uh,
barrage of
to give
recommendations.
recommendations of what I've been watching that is not only Nollywood for K-drama land. This one just recently finished.
I
Cinderella at 2 a.m. and
I
on
I think
Cinderella at 2 a.m.
there's a queue. There's a
There's a
queue.
queue now. There's a queue now.
Yes, there's a queue now. You started this queue, to be honest. So some people's
Oh, it's
hands are
because people were not allowing other people to talk. So therefore, I told them like, okay, we also have to be aware of other people. But now I have to take my advice. I'll leave. I'll get on the queue.
okay.
Sorry.
All right, Hakan and Scum, please. Look, I just read people's names as they are here.
Yeah, yes,
Go.
yes, yes. That's the intention. Yeah, happenings come. No problem. It's not derogatory. Hi, I'm Ekwe. So I wanted to. I saw. I don't know if someone has mentioned it. I joined. I missed the alarm for this meeting. I saw Lisabi last night. I actually just finished writing the review. It's come up on my YouTube tomorrow. But I wanted to discuss it. It it blew my mind because in a movie that was exactly 1 hour 47 minutes, the thing actually starts to work as a movie in the last 15 minutes, and that's where they took back Yoruba movie making by like 15 years because it was quite embarrassing. The effects were so poor. God, my lord, the movie was like a flawed human story until it got to the last 18 minutes, and then there was juju all of a sudden, and there were spirits, and it was like maybe they sacked the first writer and hired another writer from African Magic Yoruba. I was watching it and I did not believe it. I was writing as I was watching, and when it got there, I was like, "Is it the same movie or what?" It was very embarrassing, and I also wanted to point out how chatty the movie was. God, everyone just liked the sound of their own voice. I don't know what the director was doing, hiring four people who are known for being talkative as the four main characters of the movie. Like Ibrahim Chatta, I don't know if he touches himself to the sound of his own voice. Odunlade, the Alafin of Oyo, was just overacting like Odunlade. What's the other one? Latif, the Meji Latif. Then Mr. Macaroni. Like, I don't understand what was happening. Why did they bring four talkatives to come and talk? It was crazy to me. Towards the ending, which was very disappointing, things got out of hand with the whole 3D effects and the whole VFX. And because I've dabbled in stuff like this in a former life, like I knew that we were past this level by far. Like I could have done much better sitting on my MacBook in my parlor. Like it was unnecessary. It completely spoils the story and the elevation, the respect for Yoruba movies that I have, that I came. Well, I've always liked them, but the respect that I got from House of God after I watched and reviewed it, I thought it was, not perfect, but it was beautiful. This Lisabi just completely crashed it with their over talking, and it was really bad. It was a disappointing watch, honestly. It was. I loved the trailer, so I was not looking forward to reviewing it like harshly, but unfortunately, the actual story was such a letdown that my first review was actually copyright claimed by Netflix a few hours ago. So I just finished doing it all over again where I'm more gentle. Yeah. So yeah, that was my last night, unfortunately. In fact, seeing the movie, I think I understand why it was not yet released for Netflix for the Globe. It's only on Netflix Africa. The effects were so bad. I would be ashamed to be Nigerian if someone just came up and like, hey, I saw a Nigerian movie yesterday. Are you Nigerian? No, I'm not. Jesus, no. But yeah, that was my last night. Very painful, but we move.
All right, thanks.
Oh my
Thanks,
God.
Ikwe. All right, so we're saying the visual effects in our Yoruba epics have not improved. Well, anyway.
House of God was all right. Sorry, House of God was all right. It was beautifully done because it was only a compliment to the actual story. I love the flaming arrow scene. Yeah, it could have been better, but I thought it was fantastic for Nigerian, for our standards. It's dynamics. That's the fire. So it's difficult to render and things like that. But this Lishabi, no. It was like 1999 all over again. No.
That's crazy. That's no way that you can't be saying that when the director is one of the founders of Ant Hill Studio, the people who are leading us in VFX. Are you trying to say that though he's leading the way in VFX, you're trying to say his VFX was not good? I don't believe it.
His VFX was terrible. He might be a director doing VFX, but I've actually done it before, like with my hands. So that stuff was terrible. I was shocked that he actually approved it. Like he saw it and it was like, yes, we have done it. Like it's incredible. You guys should watch it. I kept thinking. I was asking him like, how did he see it? And it was like, yes.
Ekwe, you can't be telling me this from the makers that brought us Casa de Tapioca. No way.
I don't know what those things are. I've only heard of Niyi Akomolaya, but I don't think I've seen any of his movies. I know
you're missing out, man.
Watch
Casa de Novia. Watch Casa de Novia on Prime, and you will see the display of VFX magnificently. And look, yeah.
And it's not even an epic. It's not even an epic. You're in for amazing stuff. No, we're being so serious. Casa de Novia on Prime.
Has anybody figured out the reason why certain titles are?
The Lizard is wonderful.
I guys be sarcastic. I can't tell because I don't know the guy. I've never seen any of his stuff.
Yeah, the Lizard was great.
Half naked ghost with his head missing.
That can work a curling iron.
Yes. Thanks. You gotta see.
Has anybody figured out any official reason why?
Sorry, what are you saying?
No, I was gonna say, has anybody figured out any official reason why certain titles are geo-blocked? Like at first, I thought it was for stuff that was a bit too embarrassing. Because most of the titles that were limited tended to be things that looked like YouTube movies. But this movie, I mean, I don't know, from what I've seen of it, it looks pretty big budget, and it's coming from a director whose previous epics were critically acclaimed and got good views on Netflix. So I just can't understand why they would be
I
blowing
wonder.
it up.
It drove me insane. I had to pay for a VPN last night. I searched in the US. I searched for the UK. It wasn't there. I'm like, why is it only in Nigeria? I was so confused. I couldn't. It was so stressful to get to watch. So the fact that it was such a letdown was such a letdown in itself. But I think I know why it was blocked. Those effects are not global. They are not for the world, man. Just like
If it was the effects, they would have blocked Jagun Jagun as well, and a lot of other
I've
movies.
not seen that one. I've not
Do
seen that
not
one.
come for
Same
Jago
guy,
Jago.
same guy. So guarantee.
Okay, I'll check it. I'll check it out. I'll check out the Jago Jago next.
Actually,
But
yes,
anyway,
if it's about the effects, come for Jago Jago because it was the one that did the effects for Jago Jago. Remember
okay,
my complaints.
okay,
Unnecessary effects.
okay, I'll check it out. Please, my YouTube is on my bio, so you can check out my former reviews of House of Gan, Formula Eras on Kuti, and other stuff. Thanks.
Thanks, great. All right. So, Uchanada, like more. I think recently we've been noticing. I don't know. It feels like Netflix are doing a thing. To be honest, recently they've had this year more than maybe the last 2 years combined. Even they've had movies or TV series that are only on Africa. So something's going on, especially even more recently. I think the last 3. So I'm thinking about Omani Oboli's TV series, something single, something like that, or something.
Last year single.
Last year
Yeah,
single.
something like Gold as well. That was also geo-locked to sub-Saharan Africa. This also I can't remember the Timini crime. It looked like some Timini crime film. Yeah, something is going on this year. I don't see what's the name of this film. I don't see this Clarence Peters. This I don't see it on my Netflix. So yeah.
Inside Life. Well,
Yeah,
that's
no,
not
but
out
usually
yet.
you see in
but
your
like
coming soon. I haven't seen it in my coming soon.
yeah.
either.
You see you're coming soon. That's so something is happening, Sha. Netflix will probably soon tell us what they're doing, but it's not looking good to be honest.
Yeah, I thought that was stuff that was just not up to quality standards.
Hey.
But I mean, Netflix is a platform, not a publisher. They don't care about the
Yeah.
quality. It's not their job to monitor that. Really, they just care about content.
From the people that give us weather for 2, let's not talk about quality.
All I see here from Netflix is motive.
Stick it in, stick it
motive.
out.
Motive.
Motive. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it seems like they might be doing a thing, and so we might have enjoyed our last few big Netflix global releases. We might not be having any more first truly global releases anymore. So
I sort of fear that too. You know, I mean, when Prime pulled up Stakes, I really got worried that Netflix might follow suit later. But you know, that's the reason why I'm so happy for things like The Black Book, the first truly global Nigerian movie. Because you know, the more we have successes like that, the more Netflix is probably going to give a chance to Nollywood. Because I get the feeling they're just getting tired of it.
Even you, are you not tired? Be sincere.
I am.
Oh. Okay. Aika, what do you want to say?
I just wanted to do recommendations. So for me, since everybody's talking about everything now, Cinderella at 2 a.m. That one just finished. What's it called? Wait, I watched this classic. Red Shoes. I finally watched Red Shoes. That movie. Finally, that one is a bit weird though. And what's it called? Love Next Door and Love in the House. Those ones are romantic K dramas that said they were romantic K dramas, and then there's no sudden death in it. Except for housing or something, there's sudden death in it. But so far, it's been okay.
Speaking about romance,
And for Netflix,
all right, okay. All right, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I wonder. I didn't know we could talk about other films we were watching. Well, I've not watched. I can't remember if I watched any film, please. But I was watching. But I started watching Rings. I mean, is it Rings of Power? Yes. So you know how when Prime first came to Nigeria, now and that was the only thing that they were. Oh my God! If you before you turn your neck, you have to watch Rings of Power. God, I thought I was going to be tortured, but now that they left Nigeria by my lonesome. I didn't really get the first season. I didn't think it was good. I felt it was too slow. I felt it was slowly paced. I didn't even think the writers knew what they were doing then. I know that they are piecing like a lot of the Tolkien lores together to form like a backstory. But season two, I'd say one thing like season two is good. It doesn't focus so much on Galadriel's character and it's more fast paced. We see Sauron now in his elements. It has every element of course, there are some token fanatics that are mad that this is what they're doing with it. But I believe that it has like all the it sticks to all the themes of Tolkien, right? With Sauron being the devil, with how we make choices as humans rather than looking at the great thing, and then we have the histories of the hobbits before they became hobbits. But I think it's nice. I'm still watching it. It's really great, at least the second season. So if you're like a Tolkien fan, even if you're not, if you're like into fantasy and stuff, I really think that you should give Rings of Power season two. You can watch season one, no, it's just I don't know if you grab, but yeah, season two is like really great.
Okay, interesting. I was looking at Rings of Power, the first season, and there was a shine that it had that put me off, and I was like, oh, I remember the old Lord of the Rings. It felt more gritty, and I went to watch the old one, even more recently, and I was like, oh, there's actually some pretty bad CG in this as well. So I don't know when I'm giving it a chance, but we shall see. We shall see. But thanks for the recommendation. But
I was just going to say my
Vanessa,
romance girlies. Nobody wants this is on Netflix, guys.
Oh
It's
my
giving
god, it's so
everybody the
great. I
feels.
didn't want to come off
It's
strong. That's
giving
why
the
I didn't say anything.
feels, guys.
As in, especially for my millennial heart, I did not imagine that Veronica Mars would ever meet with Seth
Adam
Cohen,
Brody is
but
sexy,
look at
guys.
God.
You know how we've been saying nobody knows how to kiss on film anymore? Guys, Adam Brody can kiss. No, now, Castle tall. We've been complaining people don't know how to kiss on screen anymore. Adam Brody don't know how to kiss. Genuinely, for a romance girl, the chemistry is chemistry, the romance is romancing, the plot is plotting. Guys, nobody wants this. Guys,
I'll trust you all. I'll trust you
Let's
guys and I'll go
surprise.
watch it. Because if I do watch it and it annoys me, I'm coming for the two of you.
I promise you, Nico, nothing will
Monica,
happen.
nothing will
Nothing
happen.
will happen,
Nothing.
Nico.
Okay.
Wallahi, small
Oh,
billahi,
nobody
nothing
dies.
will happen.
One more thing too. What happens after love? That one is new. Although I can't really recommend it, but I just like the fact that it's like a Japanese and Korean love story, and those Japanese people and Koreans
Oh,
don't
that
like it.
sounds like
They,
disaster. Yeah,
it,
they don't like each
yeah,
other.
and it's like a love. They actually have this famous Japanese actor who I've seen his Japanese dramas. I've seen him, and the girl in Red Sleeve. They are doing it together, and
Okay,
it,
I'll try and watch that.
it's well shot. I have to say, it's very well shot.
okay, all right.
I'm forward to it because it's coming soon.
What was that? Sorry, Taz, you cut off.
They won't get Christmas because that's what we have coming up in December.
Oh, oh God. Okay, all right.
Why has there not been that much in Hollywood releases? I'm just like, there's been a lull.
Look, some of it is.
We have like two Christmas movies, right? I think Jaddy also has a Christmas film we should be looking forward to.
Christmas
Yeah.
movie?
That's going to be the only, I guess, the only prime original, right? That they commissioned. They would have commissioned. So yeah,
And guys, we
I
get to
guess
see
we will look forward
Ladipo's
to it.
finals on screen. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thank you, Jesus.
Exactly.
Don't worry.
All right. Mrs. Sen and I recently watched. We actually just before Film Club finished. We went back to back. We watched the
before sunset and before
before midnight,
midnight.
which
again, I mean, we've already sang the praises of the Before series on here. There's just fantastic films and so different in how they capture. It's so nice how they capture specific moments in time about two people in relationships. But yes, still great.
Also, the
Mm. Do you know the movie with Chris Rock is still part of that Before series thing?
Huh?
You guys didn't see the fourth movie in the series?
There's
After it lock and the French girl, they get together and then they divorce and she goes to be with Chris Rock.
what is it?
Oinkan, what's the title? You know it's not in the trilogy. What's the title?
It's not in the trilogy, but it's a continuation of the characters.
Is this an animation type thing?
No, Chris Rock it's a continuation. There's a fourth movie that nobody ever talks about. I watched it, and that's how I realized there was a Before series, and then I went back to watch it.
By the same producer. By the same
French
producer,
girl, yes,
writer.
even Ethan Hawke showed up in that movie because I didn't know about the Before series. I watched that movie with Chris Rock because Chris Rock was just like.
Are you sure it's not some, crossover thing going on? Maybe the
It
writer
came
was
after
being
the three
written.
movies. It is the fourth one, and nobody talks about it.
No, okay, no. There's a reason why
It's
nobody,
there.
because it doesn't exist.
It's part of it, though. And I always find it funny whenever people are like, "Oh, the Before trilogy." I'm like, "Wait, There's a fourth one that continues the character. They don't end up together. They divorce, and then she moves on to be in a relationship. I don't know whether she married with Chris Rock.
I'm sorry, that
the comedian. It continues.
All right. Okay. This is why I knew we have to end this space now. Thanks for that. I'm ending this space. Thanks, everybody. We spoke about, what did we speak about? We spoke about hopefully some people have gotten their chest about the decisions of the Things Fall Apart TV series that's coming out. We spoke about what we've been watching and we've done some movie recommendations. I hope you guys found this useful. I don't know what we're going to do next week, but this is based on vibes anyway. So, but thanks guys for joining us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the episode. If you enjoyed listening and would like to join live, just follow us on Twitter at IrokoCritic and join us every Sunday, 6 p.m. West African time on our spaces.